That's exactly what they did. When Southport happened, they locked people up for tweets, right?
Mm-hmm.
And and this is the thing, I mentioned this, and so many people have, I don't know if I would say forgotten, but
Mm-hmm.
people are not talking about this fact anymore. And I was there in Southport when the riots kicked off. In fact, Hope Not Hate tried to frame me as one of the main instigators, along with Tommy Robinson, of the riots. And
What?
they put that out to BBC, ITV, all of the world's news. And they put articles out on all of these big news outlets saying Tommy Robinson, Pastor Rikki Doolan, some other few guys' names were the main, like the headline was, who was the main instigators of the far right Southport riots? And my name was there. I was like, what? Of course, I wrote emails to them all threatening legal action, and they removed my name. So that was okay. But you can see that.
It's just,
You want to say?
it's the fact that they think, oh my gosh, this is what hurts my brains. They think that what instigated the fights, sorry, not the fights, the riots, was Tommy Robinson saying, "Don't go out and don't be violent," and not the fact that Axel Rida Kobana slaughtered 3 babies.
But that's the
So
thing.
their thought process is that you making a tweet saying this is not okay instigated it, and not actual Axel Rida Kobana's act was what instigated the violence.
Yes.
We are living in dark times. Rikki.
Clown world.
This is dark times.
The clown world, man. And this is the point I was getting at, right? Is that I was there in Southport that day. I went to pray for the community. Fortunately for me, a street mic was there, and he filmed me and interviewed me, and that kind of stood to prove to these media outlets that I wasn't in Southport for a riot. And this is the thing that everybody forgets, is that all of those riots that took place around the country, they came after peaceful protests, okay? Peaceful protests were happening, and in, I would say, almost 95% of the situations, the police used over heavy-handed tactics, provoked the protesters, after the protest had finished, by the way, and turned it into a riot situation. It was actually the police. And I don't know what instructions they were getting to do it, but it was so purposeful. I saw it in Middlesbrough. I saw it in Southport. I was there. And I'm sorry, I just want to get this point out. In Southport, I was there, right? Now, I wish I could draw it, but anyway, I'll try and describe it. So, there's a street, right? On that street, and it's the next street along from the street where Axel Rida Kobana murdered them innocent children, the next street along, and on that street is a mosque, right? Now, the people that were protesting, I don't know how the situation happened, but somebody put a brick through one of the windows on the mosque, right? And that's what caused the police to put 2 banks of protection so that the protesters couldn't get any closer to the mosque. Didn't say that anyone was going to burn the mosque down. It didn't say that anyone was going to do any more damage, but somebody threw a brick through the window. So the police held these 2 lines to protect the mosque. This is exactly what happened. I was there. I was a witness. Anybody else who was there will confirm this. The whole riot, in inverted commas, started because the police were under order, determined to protect a mosque. So the whole thing with the police cars burning, with all that stuff happening, and I watched policemen holding the line, protecting the mosque, taking bricks in the head, and people were saying to the police officers, why are you fighting us? Are you not also upset that these children have been murdered? People are angry because the kids have been murdered. And yet the police were on instruction to guard the mosque. That's what started the Southport riots, which ignited the rest of the country. But the police being heavy-handed in all of these different cities after peaceful protests is what caused the violence, right? And then it was taken by Keir Starmer and painted in this completely false narrative that this is far-right hooligans that are out there to attack mosques and Muslims, and we have to put a stop to it. So they completely changed the narrative to a false narrative to meet their... And like I said, my only speculation, my only conspiracy theory, that's what I'll say, this is a conspiracy theory, but obviously, you take it as you want, is that these people, the Keir Starmers of the world, all these politicians in the Houses of Parliament that are standing up and shouting Islamophobia and all this nonsense, are absolutely in the pocket of Islam. Somebody's paying somebody somewhere. All you got to do in these situations is follow the money. Somebody is paying somebody, because these guys are not stupid, but yet they're willing to lie.
Rikki, somebody's being paid. There's no
Somebody's being paid.
Because there's no way they can continue to allow something that is not working. Multiculturalism is not working, but they are allowing it. If they're allowing it, it's because somebody is being paid. Now, you said that there were barriers around the mosque.
Yes.
I have a question. Were there
Not
barriers?
Based on bougie, human barriers, like 2 lines of police officers blocking the mosque.
So there were 2 lines of police officers blocking the mosque. May I ask you, Rikki, because you was in Southport, were there 2 lines of police officers blocking the homes of the daughters that got slaughtered? Were there 2 lines of police officers blocking the homes of the school where the children had the Taylor Swift concert?
Nothing. Zero. Just blocking that.
Sorry? So,
block it. The mosque was the only point of concern for the whole police operation.
Not the actual homes, not the actual school. The mosque was okay, got it. The second question that the second statement that I wanted to make is that I remember I was seeing so much news. And first of all, when it comes to the brick being thrown, what's their proof that that brick was intentionally directed at the mosque? What's their proof of that? When you riot, things are constantly being thrown around, and if there's a mosque nearby, the mosque is probably going to get hit. The brick could have probably hit someone else's head. It could have probably hit a car. That's what happens when you're in a riot. It could hit anything. But what is their evidence that that one brick was intentionally directed or targeted for the mosque? What's their evidence of that? And to add to your Southport, deep dive, they said that a mosque was burnt down. I remember seeing headlines everywhere saying that a mosque was burnt down.
Mosques, they said.
I searched high and low, up and down to try to find this footage. I even asked my Instagram and Twitter followers to help me find the footage of the mosque being burnt down. There was no footage. And that's what mainstream media does. They put out false information to rattle people, because we know Muslim people, they defend the religion. That's one thing I applaud them for. They defend the religion. So obviously if they're hearing news about a mosque being burnt down, of course they're going to be outraged. But that never happened. But my question to the Muslim community is, why did you allow yourself to be so enraged to the point where you were gaslit, where you were attacking innocent... There was heartbreaking videos of innocent old white men being thrown to the ground, kicked in the stomach, and you allowed yourself to be gaslit over something that you didn't see with your own eyes. You didn't see it. You just saw a headline. What is going on in the world where people believe headlines before they see their own eyes? People are ready to commit violence over something that they haven't seen.
Wait.
It breaks my heart. You was ready to put your life on the line. You was ready to violently harm somebody over something that you didn't see because there was no footage of a mosque being burned. Somebody's being paid.
Wait. These political prisoners, these Lucy Connollys, these Wayne O'Rourke's, the Peter Lynch's, they went to prison for inciting violence, yet they didn't incite violence. The only person that's incited violence around the country was Keir Starmer. Keir Starmer was the one
who incited it.
He's the one who incited it.
They put out fake news lines. They instructed the police to defend the mosque. He provoked the Southport community when he came and he just dropped flowers and left. He incited it.
He
I
incited the
definitely
violence.
the Southport attack was pre-planned or something. Something doesn't seem right about that situation. I think it was purposely put out to antagonize both communities. And I remember seeing a video from a lovely Muslim TikTok creator, and she openly said, Muslims, stop falling for this. They are trying to divide us. This is a woman, she had a hijab and everything. She said they are trying to divide us. She even exposed how the police or somebody were giving guns and weapons to these immigrants. She said she's seen it with her own eyes. These people were being paid off to have weapons for the
Where
Southport.
she was
And
offered a fat chunk of money to put these immigrants in her house, her property. Then a delivery came, a container, and she dared to open that container and saw that that container had guns in it. And the question was, back then, I thought, are these people supporting the British Army? Are they going to be working with them? No, I think this, and this could get taken down. They allowed people to come into this country. There are well above capacity for this country to handle the amount of people. We all know that because we're feeling it, right? Something like 68 million when there should be 32. They bring them over, they let them in, they put them in the hotels, and they give them guns. Then they create a civil war. And who's got the guns? The immigrants. And what happens? A civil war at a level that people haven't seen. If you're shocked by what's occurring right now, prepare yourself with what's to come. Because if what I think is going to happen, and if these immigrants are pissed off by what you guys have done, or what you guys have been programmed dumbly to sheepy follow and do, think about it. The government let them in. They house them. They give them everything for free. You're going to get pissed by that. There's no doubt about it. I get pissed about it. Why am I working? Why am I paying taxes? Why am I having to pay for everything? And they're getting everything for free. Who's not going to get pissed about that? The government let them in. They house them for free. The locals get pissed. They get angry and riot. They abuse Muslims. Because these are what the immigrants are, largely, aren't they? They're Muslims from the countries that the West have gone in and screwed over. They piss off the immigrants rise. Who's going to give the guns to the immigrants? It's not even going to give, they've given them. There is an army of people within. And those people, when they come up, you and your wheelie bins and your pallets and your distant level of attack is nothing compared to what they can deliver, because they've faced it themselves in their own countries at the hands of people.
And these are the type of people we need in society. We need people who can put their religion aside, their tribalism aside, and just look at what's right and what's wrong. And that video was very powerful, because the fact that a Muslim woman was openly able to see that something isn't right here, no mosque was burnt. Rikki, people were attacking people for something they didn't see. What world? Like, people are under, they are under like a slave
Mind control.
mind control. We are living in an era of mind control, because no one can ever tell me to go fight someone without seeing with my own eyes what they did.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It's crazy. And just to finish on the Southport issue, because you said that it seemed like a setup. I remember it well because I was on X the whole day of that Southport thing. And I remember a very peaceful protest that followed a very peaceful, what's the word? Where people gather with the candles and stuff. The word is evading me. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know the name, but
someone
yeah,
will put it in the comments. It's okay.
Yeah.
And a vigil. Yeah, a very peaceful vigil first, and then a peaceful protest second. But in between all of that, before the protest, this random guy who looked Arabic and had a hood on came walking past the police into this peaceful vigil with a knife. The mainstream media didn't report on this, but it was all over X. It's a reality. Then the police went, and all the crowd started getting revved up, and then the police grabbed him and took him away. Looked like an absolute plant. Like, you don't need any intelligence. It just didn't look like it looked like it was something to provoke the crowd. Somebody had been sent to provoke the crowd so something can take place. Of course, I'm speculating.
Allegedly.
Conspiracy theory. But what else could it be? And the guy, I mean, if someone wants to do a terror attack, they do it in a way that, like, it's aggressive. You know what I mean? It can't be stopped until a certain period. They make some impact. But this guy walked past the police. Like, and if you see the video and the photos of this guy, he wasn't running at someone with a knife. He's just walking with a big knife. Like, as if he's waiting for the police to get him. So very shady.
I don't put it past you, because remember I just said there was a Muslim social worker who made a TikTok video saying that people were being paid off to basically have weapons, to have guns, to have knives. So I don't put it past you. Yeah.
Not past me. This was on X.
Sorry,
Don't put it on me.
Don't put it past X. Sorry.
All right, cool.